that's the best time to be able to work. And actually, break steel if you try and work it when it's too cold. Maybe. The important thing to remember though with steel is, even if it looks like this, it doesn't mean it's cold. Steel can look like this up to about 800, 900 degrees. Enough to immediately set that on fire. So, when you see steel, don't assume it's cold, especially in these environments. We've got these setting in here. I'm not going to touch that, because that one's likely hot.
This one's been sitting off to the side. It's probably still pretty hot. It's been on for a while.
It's a bit warm, not too hot to touch, but definitely.
Hi, I'm Tara Ostrander. I'm from Collinsville. This is my husband, Ben Ostrander.
Also from Collinsville.
I'm Jake. I'm from Beggs.
Saltfork Craftsmen, the organization we belong to, is primarily a teaching organization. The role of the organization is to keep just about any old artisan skill alive, in this instance specifically blacksmithing, teaching, getting people involved, instructing, and letting them learn what it is we do, how we do it, and letting them learn a new hobby and become involved in something that's an incredibly old and enjoyable skill and pastime.
We are blacksmiths. We are under the organization Saltfork Craftsmen, but we operate our own business called Hammerback Forge. We do have a Facebook page. We primarily make stuff for the farmers market in Collinsville for Farm Hippie, but we do really enjoy coming out to these blacksmithing fairs and just making basically what anyone needs. So the blacksmiths were the most important job that you could get in the medieval era. And so anything that somebody needed, tools, whether it's a hinge or a triangle, or I've been making pipe tools for pipe tobacco basically all day. I've had people come up and ask me for them. We make hooks and necklaces, all sorts of things. So if you see something that you might want, whether it's on Pinterest, I've had people come up, show me their phone, say, I need this. And that's our job, is to make what people need.
I really enjoy making dice. I make six-sided dice. I make them out of just about any piece of metal I can find, usually out of round pieces of steel, and I'll flatten them down, turn them into cubes, and mark them. I can't imagine how many dice I've sold now. People seem to love them. So I decided I wanted to make a 20-sided dice. A lot of people that come to the medieval fairs are big fans of Dungeons and Dragons, role-playing games like that. And I decided, you know, they like my six-sided dice, I'm going to try a 20-sided die. I talked to people, watched some videos on it, try and get advice on how to do it, some ideas on what I needed to do. My first attempt has been very rough. It's definitely 20-sided, kind of like 19.5-sided, because the way you actually hammer it out, and I used a high carbon steel ball bearing, 2-inch steel ball bearing, the way you hammer it out has to be very specific. You have to do certain areas first, otherwise it's going to stretch and warp and things are going to smooth over and it just ends up all weird. But I've got some grinding work to do and some marking, and it may actually become an acceptable 20-sided die. We're definitely getting there, and once I get that ironed out, a couple more failures and I think I'll have it down.
So 90% of blacksmithing is figuring out how not to do something. Because if you mess up, you have lost your entire piece that you've been working on all day. And then you have to start over. So again, you find out 100 ways how not to make something. And then you find one way to make it.
100% true. I spent 4 hours making a pipe tool this morning. And now I can snap them out in under 10 minutes.
Awesome. Very cool.
Okay. Hold that. And you do get a lot of burns doing this until you learn not to get a lot of burns. And just like actually blacksmithing, you're going to fail at not getting burns for quite a while. But we try and be as safe as possible.
We do?